You have been bleeding power your whole life, and you never know this. Every time you responded to someone who did not deserve your reply, you handed them a piece of yourself. Every explanation you gave to someone who already decided not to understand you. Every emotional reaction you showed when silence would have hurt them more. You thought you were being mature. You were actually making yourself cheap. This is the truth that weak men never learn and powerful men never forget. Your attention is not free. It is the most expensive currency you possess. And you have been spending it on people who would not cross the road to save you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. The man who reacts loses control. The man who withholds response becomes untouchable. In this video, you're going to learn the art of ignoring people not as weakness, not as avoidance, but as a ruthless form of power. By the end, you'll understand what happens inside their mind when you go silent. Why ignoring someone hurts more than confrontation, and how to make disrespect expensive without saying a single word. Stay until the end, because once you see this clearly, you will never give your attention away the same way again. Why attention is power. Attention is the most expensive currency you own, and you've been giving it away like it's worthless. Every glance, every reply, every emotional reaction is a payment. And the moment someone can predict where your attention goes, they can predict you. Most people never see this. They think power comes from strength, money, or status. But power starts much earlier, at the point where someone realizes they can pull your focus whenever they want. Watch how this happens in daily life. Someone sends a disrespectful message. You feel the urge to reply. Someone questions you publicly. You rush to defend. Someone ignores you on purpose, and your mind spirals. In all three moments, the same thing is happening. Your attention has been hijacked. That's the first loss. Here's the truth most people miss. Whoever controls attention controls emotion, and whoever controls emotion controls behavior. Picture a simple scene. You're scrolling your phone. One comment irritates you. Out of hundreds, this one sticks. Your body tightens. You reread it. You think about responding. Minutes pass. That stranger has now taken something from you without permission, your mental space. They didn't need force. They didn't need authority. They only needed access. This is why Machiavelli warned that a man who reacts is already being led. The moment your mood depends on another person's actions, you are no longer in control of yourself. Now look at the opposite. Think of someone who never rushes to reply, someone who doesn't explain, doesn't chase, doesn't correct every misunderstanding. Their calm feels heavy, their silence feels intentional. You notice them more, not less. Why? Because scarcity creates value. When attention is rare, it becomes powerful. Here's the uncomfortable realization. Attention given freely loses value instantly. Attention withheld gains weight. This is why manipulators provoke. This is why disrespect is often subtle. They're not attacking you. They're testing whether they can reach you. One reaction is all it takes. Once they know they can pull your attention, they pull harder. Powerful people understand this instinctively. They don't react to everything because they don't need to. Their focus is guarded. Their attention is deliberate. Ask yourself this, honestly. How many people in your life have power over you only because you keep giving them your attention? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you understand this, everything shifts. Attention isn't harmless. It's leverage. And whoever holds it holds you. Silence creates fear. Most people think silence is weakness. They believe that if they don't respond, they lose control of the situation. In reality, the opposite is true. Silence is one of the most unsettling forces in human interaction because it removes certainty. When you speak, you reveal position. When you explain, you give structure. When you react, you make yourself readable. Silence does none of these things. Silence leaves a vacuum. And the human mind hates empty space. Picture a common situation. Someone sends a sharp message meant to provoke you. Maybe it's passive-aggressive. Maybe it's openly disrespectful. You read it. Your heart rate rises. The instinct is immediate: clarify, defend, correct. That instinct is emotional relief, not strategy. Now imagine you do nothing. No reply, no reaction, no signal. What happens next isn't calm, it's discomfort on their side. Silence forces the other person to think. They reread their message. They wonder if they went too far. They question your perception of them. They start filling the silence with assumptions, and those assumptions almost always turn inward. This is the fear. Machiavelli understood this dynamic clearly. When a ruler responded to every threat, he appeared nervous. When he remained silent, enemies hesitated. Silence didn't mean inaction. It meant control. Here's the psychological trigger. The human brain equates response with relevance. When there is no response, relevance is threatened. And when relevance is threatened, insecurity surfaces. Think about a daily life example. You set a boundary. Someone pushes it. In the past, you explained yourself. This time, you stop engaging. You stay polite, but distant. You don't argue. You don't justify. Notice how quickly the tone shifts. They soften, they test, they backtrack, or they grow uneasy. Why? Because silence removes feedback, and without feedback, they can't adjust their behavior to manipulate you. This is where fear quietly forms. Not fear of you, but fear of losing influence over you. Silence also protects you. No emotional leakage, no extra information, no words that can be twisted later. You stay unreadable. Here's the brutal truth. People who fear silence fear losing control. People who respect silence recognize strength. This doesn't mean ignoring everyone. It means choosing when your presence is required and when it is not. Ask yourself this. Who in your life becomes uncomfortable when you stop explaining and start staying quiet? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you understand this, you'll see it clearly. Silence isn't absence. Silence is pressure. And pressure reveals everything. Before we move further, if you're getting value from this, tap like and subscribe. It tells me you need more videos like this. What ignoring does to their mind. Ignoring someone doesn't just frustrate them, it destabilizes them. Most people believe power comes from confrontation, winning arguments, proving points, landing the last word. But the human mind doesn't break under attack, it breaks under uncertainty. And ignoring someone is pure uncertainty. Here's what happens internally when you withdraw your attention. At first, they feel dismissed, not angry, confused. Their brain expected feedback, a response, validation, even if it was negative. When nothing comes, the mind starts searching for meaning. Did I say something wrong? Did they see my message? Are they ignoring me on purpose? This is where control shifts. The brain hates unanswered questions. Neuroscience shows that social rejection activates the same areas as physical pain. Silence doesn't register as neutrality, it registers as loss. Picture a simple situation. You stop replying to someone who used to get instant access to you. No argument, no announcement, just distance. They check their phone more. They reread old conversations. They replay past interactions, searching for the moment things changed. You are no longer reacting, but they are spiraling. This is the psychological imbalance ignoring creates. Machiavelli understood that people fear being irrelevant more than being opposed. An enemy acknowledged feels important. An enemy ignored feels erased, and erasure terrifies the ego. Here's the key realization. When you ignore someone, they don't think about you less. They think about you more. Silence turns you into an unresolved problem in their mind. They may test you, send another message, escalate their tone, act overly friendly, not because they're confident, but because they're seeking reassurance that they still matter. If you respond now, you restore balance. If you stay silent, the imbalance deepens. This is why ignoring feels uncomfortable to use. It triggers guilt, empathy, the urge to explain. But understand this, you are not punishing them. You are removing access. And removal of access forces self-reflection, whether they want it or not. People who are secure don't panic when ignored. People who rely on control do. Ask yourself this, be honest. Who in your life reacts emotionally when you stop giving them attention? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you see this clearly, you'll never confuse silence with weakness again. Ignoring isn't passive. It's psychological gravity, and most minds can't escape it. Strategic withdrawal. Strategic withdrawal is not disappearing. It's choosing not to be available where your presence is wasted. Most people withdraw emotionally only after they are hurt. That's reactive, weak. Strategic withdrawal happens before damage, when you sense disrespect, manipulation, or diminishing returns. Here's the mistake most people make. They think distance is something you announce. They explain. They justify. They make speeches about needing space. That defeats the entire point. True withdrawal is silent. Picture a familiar situation. You're in a group chat. One person constantly pushes boundaries, subtle jokes, small digs, passive disrespect. You used to reply fast. You used to engage. One day, you stop. No argument. No drama. No explanation. Your replies become slower, shorter, eventually optional. Nothing explodes. But the power dynamic shifts. Because when access is removed without explanation, the mind fills the gap with doubt. Machiavelli understood this principle well. He warned leaders not to exhaust themselves trying to manage every perception. Power is conserved by choosing where not to appear. Here's the brutal truth. Constant availability is not generosity, it's self-discounting. When people know they can reach you anytime, they stop valuing the moment they do. Strategic withdrawal reverses this. Another everyday example. At work, you're always helpful, always responsive, always fixing problems that aren't yours. You think this makes you respected. Instead, it makes you predictable. Now imagine you shift. You still perform. You still deliver. But you stop reacting instantly. You stop jumping into every issue. You stop explaining your absence. Suddenly, your presence carries weight. People notice when you're not there. Meetings feel different. decisions slow down. That's not coincidence. That's leverage. Withdrawal works because it creates contrast, and contrast creates value. This isn't about being cold. It's about being selective. You are teaching others without words how to treat you. And here's the line most people need to hear. If removing yourself causes chaos, you were being used. If removing yourself causes respect, you were being undervalued. Now, ask yourself this, and don't rush it. Where in your life are you present out of habit, not purpose? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you learn to withdraw strategically, you stop chasing influence. You let absence do the work for you. Who deserves your silence? Silence is not something you give to everyone. It is reserved, measured, earned. Most people waste silence on the wrong targets. They go quiet with people who matter and argue endlessly with people who don't. That mistake keeps them stuck. Here's the first truth you need to accept. Not everyone deserves access to your reactions. Some people deserve answers, some deserve boundaries, and some deserve nothing at all. Start with this category. People who disrespect you repeatedly. Not once, not accidentally, repeatedly. Small digs, subtle insults, jokes that land just sharp enough to test you. When you explain yourself to these people, you reward the behavior. When you confront emotionally, you feed it. Silence is the correction. No response. No explanation. No reaction. Your lack of engagement tells them more than words ever could. Second category. People who drain you. They always have problems, always need advice, always need reassurance. Conversations with them leave you tired, foggy, irritated. They disguise dependency as closeness. When you keep responding, you teach them that your energy is available on demand. Silence resets the equation. Not dramatic silence, not announced silence, just gradual absence. Short replies become no replies. Availability becomes scarcity. Third category. People who misunderstand you on purpose. These are the most dangerous. They twist your words. They ask questions, not to learn, but to trap you. You explain. They misunderstand again. This is not confusion. It's strategy. Silence ends the game. Machiavelli warned that engaging with bad faith actors only strengthens them. When you stop responding, you remove the stage. Now here's the hard part. Silence is not punishment. It's selection. You are choosing where your attention goes. And attention is power. If someone panics, escalates, or attacks when you go silent, that reaction reveals everything you needed to know. Because respect does not demand access. Control does. Ask yourself this question, and don't soften the answer. Who in your life reacts badly when you stop engaging? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you identify who deserves your silence, you stop wasting your voice, and you start reclaiming your power. Emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming unmovable. Most people think power comes from saying the right thing at the right time. It doesn't. Power comes from controlling what you don't say when emotions rise. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If someone can trigger your emotions, they can steer your behavior. And most people are easy to steer. A disrespectful comment, a passive-aggressive tone, a delayed reply, a look that feels dismissive. Your body reacts before your mind does. Heart rate increases. Thoughts race. You feel the urge to correct, defend, explain, or strike back. That urge is the leash. Picture a simple moment. Someone challenges you in front of others, not loudly, just enough to test you. You feel the heat. You want to respond immediately, to restore balance. That's the moment discipline matters. Because the first reaction is never strategic. It's emotional. And emotional reactions always benefit the other person. Machiavelli understood this well. He knew that a man ruled by his feelings can never rule a situation. Emotion makes you predictable. Predictability makes you controllable. Emotional discipline begins with delay. You don't react instantly. You pause. You breathe. You let the emotion pass without acting on it. This pause changes everything. Silence forces the other person to sit with uncertainty. They expected a reaction. They prepared for defense or escalation. When nothing comes, the balance shifts. Here's another daily example. Someone sends a message designed to provoke you. A subtle jab, a loaded question. You see it, you feel it, and you don't reply. Minutes pass. Hours pass. They reread their own words. They second-guess themselves. The pressure moves from you to them. That is emotional discipline in action. This is not suppression. Suppression hides emotion and lets it explode later. Discipline observes emotion and refuses to obey it. The goal is simple. Feel everything. Act on nothing until you choose. With practice, this becomes automatic. Insults lose their sting. Provocations feel obvious. You stop taking the bait because you can see the hook. And here's the final truth most people never realize. The calmest person in the room controls the room. Ask yourself this and be honest. Who benefits most when you lose emotional control? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you master emotional discipline, people stop pulling your strings and start watching their own. Becoming untouchable. Becoming untouchable does not mean no one can reach you. It means no one can move you. Most people are easy to disturb. A word shifts their mood. A message ruins their day. A look makes them doubt themselves. That is not sensitivity. That is exposure. An untouchable person still feels emotion, but emotion no longer controls behavior. Here is the shift. You stop reacting to what people do. You start choosing how much access they get. Picture a common situation. Someone disrespects you subtly. A joke with an edge, a tone that crosses the line. The old version of you would respond, explain, correct, defend, or push back emotionally. The untouchable version does none of that. They notice, they remember, and they adjust access. No confrontation, no drama, no explanation, just distance. That silence is not weakness, it's a decision. Machiavelli understood this clearly. He knew that power is not shown through force, but through detachment. When someone cannot affect your emotions, they lose their leverage over you. Here's a harder truth. Most people aren't hurt by others. They are hurt by their need to be understood. Once you release that need, you become dangerous in a quiet way. Think about another daily scene. Someone tries to provoke you publicly. They want a reaction. They want proof they matter to you. When you stay calm, when you don't rise to it, the attention they wanted collapses. And something interesting happens. They feel exposed. Because indifference denies validation. And validation is what most people crave more than truth. Becoming untouchable is built through patterns. You stop explaining yourself. You stop reacting immediately. You stop engaging with people who thrive on chaos. You respond only when it serves you. This doesn't make you cold. It makes you selective. Your energy becomes guarded, your time becomes valuable, your presence becomes rare, and rare things are respected. Here is the final realization. When nothing can emotionally shake you, people must deal with you on your terms or not at all. Now ask yourself this, and don't rush it. Who in your life still has the power to disturb your inner state? Write your answer in the comments. Because once you see who still has access, you can decide who keeps it. And that decision is what makes you untouchable. If you've stayed until this moment, understand what that means. You're not here for motivation. You're here for control. Everything you've learned in this video points to one truth most people never accept. Your power was never taken from you. You gave it away through attention, reaction, and emotional access. Silence takes it back. Detachment seals it. Discipline keeps it. From this point forward, you move differently. You don't react just because someone provokes you. You don't explain just because someone demands clarity. You don't engage just because someone wants access. You choose. And that choice changes the entire game. People who once disturbed you will feel smaller. People who once tested you will hesitate. People who once fed on your reactions will starve. Not because you fought them, but because you became unreachable. Now do one thing before you leave. In the comments, write, "I choose silence." Not for the algorithm, for yourself. Because declaring control makes you accountable to it. If this video sharpened your thinking, hit the like button. It trains your mind to reward discipline. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every lesson here is designed to make you harder to control, harder to manipulate, and impossible to ignore. This isn't entertainment. It's armor. And from here on out, move quietly, observe deeply, and never give your power away again.